Hi, guys. All right, let's just kind of. I'm still getting used to this. I completely changed my. Hold on. Hold on, please hold. Here. All right. Let's go ahead and show this. Excitement is building. This is huge. I don't know what this is, but it's huge. It's huge. All right. So thank you guys so much for joining me. Apologies, I'm a few hours late. Oh, Darnia, hold on. Un momento, really quick. It's been a very, very interesting day today. Not a bad interesting, just very interesting with the energies. If you guys just give me a moment, I have to fix a few settings. Just have to fix a few settings. Thank you for being patient with me. Yes, here we go. All right. If you would like to participate in the comments, I'd love to hear from you. Only thing is, you're going to have to be subscribed or a follower of my channel or Facebook page. So, as I'm getting everything situated, which I totally didn't think to do because I was still busy arguing with my old service provider. I mean, your girl can't be bothered with that kind of caca. I'm just saying. Let me just fix the Facebook really quick. I've been absolutely loving restricting the settings. And let me see. No, that's not what I want. I want to. I'm not sure how to do it at this point. All I know is when I set the settings so that only the followers can comment, an amazing thing happens. The BS stops. The BS stops. And that's what I want. I want the BS. Oh, here. Only the followers and block comments with links. Thank you very much. All right. That's all I needed from there. Now I can get back to what I was doing. All right. So, apologies that I'm a few hours late. I needed to totally get stuff done. I need to get stuff done, and that's why I'm late. So now that I've got stuff done, I can go ahead and do a reading for us really quick and figure out what's happening. So there's a lot of shifting that's occurred. Decisions were made, plans put into action. Oh, the bitches. The peaches. Oh my gosh. There's these cards in here. How did that happen? How did that happen? Oh, there's more. The peaches. Hello. You need something? Oh. Okay, thank you. So let me. Oh, there's more. I know I saw another one of the other cards. Am I tripping? Oh, I think I'm tripping now. I think I'm now tripping. Okay. Oh, it's on this side. Fool, quit playing with me. Oh, yes, I did see one. See, I saw two. I knew it. More than two. Gosh, diggity darn it. There's more than two up in here. There's more than 2 up in here. All right. Oh, y'all, I didn't realize how much more chaotic I am than I gave myself credit for. That is a little mistake. Hold on. Oh, you want the kind?
Yeah, the kind, bro.
The kind, bra, is in the drawer, bra.
Where?
In the kind drawer over there.
Bro.
It's there over there.
Where?
Over there. He's over here talking pigeon to me. We can pigeon back, baby boo. It's over there, the kind. The kind is over there. So if y'all don't know, my husband is from Hawaii. All right. Let me just breathe. Let me just breathe. That was a doozy getting that straightened out. That nearly killed my OCD. Okay. Girl, you're gonna survive. You were gonna survive that. Let me just pull cards. All right. Let's get started. So decisions were made, right? And I don't know, maybe it was like this whole big drama because of whatever decisions needed to be made. But someone finally made these decisions for themselves. And so everyone is in some big hullabaloo over it. Like, y'all, you don't get a say in this person's life. I'm just saying. I hate when people think they get a say in your life and they're like, why? Why do you think you get a say in someone else's life? You don't. You just don't. Okay. So I guess this is like confirmation that you're doing the right thing. When you're trying to break free of people who like to force you into compliance, people who like to try and dictate to you how you're going to live, the moment you start pissing them off is the moment you're being given confirmation that you're finally being autonomous. People who are control freaks don't like that, and they get angry. It's okay. It's time for them to learn to deal with their disappointment. I'm serious. It's okay. Let them figure out how to deal with their disappointment. Like I tell my kids, it's okay for you to feel disappointed. You'll survive it. You'll get through it. Do you need a hug? But I think if you say that to someone who wants to control you, I think they're going to find that antagonistic. At which point you can ask them if they need a second hug because they're dealing with big feelings. You're dealing with big feelings right now. Do you need a hug? I would do that. I so would. And then when they get mad at me, I'd be like, so you're mad because I'm trying to be supportive of your processing of your disappointment. Let's get started. So excitement is building. This is huge. It's huge. You are starting to step into this part of your life where you're making choices for yourself and you are pushing forward towards whatever it is that your higher self, your soul is trying to present to you as an option. Oh, I'm all about options. I really am. I'm all about options. Even like even in a situation where like, you know, you're being combative with me and you're presenting me options in a very sarcastic way, I still like that. I like options. What can I say? I really, truly do. So sometimes you won't give me options and I'll just start saying my options out loud. I could either cuss you out because that's the one option. I could ignore you because you're really not worth my time. That's the second option. I could boop you on the nose, kind of like, you know, you think I'm a little fish and you think you're a great white. I heard that if you boop a great white shark on the nose, it will redirect itself. So I'm wondering, those are my three options. Would it work the same if I booped you in the throat? Those are things that I would think out loud. Stability. Allow yourself to get very, very stable in what you've decided for yourself. Whatever you've decided for yourself is what you should do. And if you're afraid because, like, what if it doesn't pan out the way I want it to pan out? Okay, but what if it does? What if something even better happens for you? What if this possible mistake that you're making becomes the greatest thing that's ever happened to you? What if? What if? Right? I used to say this one thing when I was a lot younger, where if you're a mistake, I want you to be my most favorite mistake ever. Because really, sometimes the things that I assumed was going to be a mistake for me uh, turned out to be the most amazing thing. It wasn't the easiest. It was definitely challenging, but it became the most amazing thing. So keep that in mind as you make these decisions for yourself. Awakening. So you're getting to a point of realization where your awareness of what's happening in your life and your power in these situations, it's expanding to the point where it cannot shrink back to its original dimensions, its original size and shape. Once you're aware of something, you can't make yourself unaware of it. So once you see someone's toxicity, you will forever be aware of their toxicity. But for some of us, we're really, really good. Excuse me. We're really, really good at pretending like we were the issue to begin with, and that we need to give them a break and we need to this, we need to that. You can continue to do that, but your situation will continue in the way that it's been going. So, just definitely something you need to consider. Okay. Autumn in reverse. So, first and foremost, this feels like it has two messages to it. The first one has a lot to do with last autumn being upside down and a warning for you not to enter into this coming autumn still in reverse. Get up, pick yourself up. When you fall, you don't just stay laying. You have to pick yourself up. You have to get up. Okay. I remember there were times when one of my toddlers, he fell. I wasn't hard, but he just laid there. And instead of picking him up, I just laid there with him, flat on my back like he was. And I was like, are we ready to get up? Because you got to get up at some point. Okay. And you're just staring. You're just staring at the ceiling. He fell, so I laid down with him. But that was a thing. The thing there was that he was going to have to pick himself up. Why? Because he had made a decision to do something. I told him, you may potentially fall off and hurt yourself. And he did it anyways. So he had to learn to pick himself up. He didn't get hurt, but sometimes you got to just pick yourself up. It doesn't matter who saw you fall. Pick yourself up. You're okay. Alchemist in reverse. I think for some, there is this like back and forth worry about, man, is this going to be the right thing? Am I making a mistake? Am I this? Am I that? Just write it out. Write it out. Write it out. And I think you're going to come across write it out. And I think you're going to come across situations and opportunities. I'm sorry. Manifestation in reverse. There's a lot of fear of what you're manifesting. There's a lot of fear of creating a situation that is going to be too hard for you to handle. You only disappoint yourself when you give up. That's what I just heard. You only disappoint yourself when you give up. When you fail at something and you continue to try, you can get frustrated, but you don't get disappointed. You're too busy attempting again and again and again to get disappointed. So you only actually disappoint yourself when you give up on something. right? So don't give up. Keep going. Keep trying. Keep putting your effort into whatever it is that you want the most. Now, you have to be careful about things that are not reciprocal. Okay. If, say, what you want is a person and they don't want you and they've made it abundantly clear. And here's the thing, Pisceans, empaths, please don't spare people's feelings. That's a statement all on its own. Please stop sparing people's feelings, because what ends up happening is you prolong their suffering. I've finally, thankfully, gotten to a point in my life where if I don't want you around me, I will flat out say it. No more dancing around it. No more trying to, this or that. Like, you're removed. I don't want you around me. And that's that. I don't want you around me. And if I don't want you around me, then I don't want you around me. And people are going to have to be okay with this. They're going to have to be okay with what you are needing, what you are experiencing. Sometimes people don't want to listen. And, if they don't want to listen, then that's on them, I say. Let them make the decisions that they need to make and kind of just keep going with your journey, and make the decisions that you need to make for yourself. Okay. Really allow yourself the time and the space and the energy to go through that self-healing process. So just going to breathe. Let's do that for a second. I feel like there's a lot of tension. Just like that. Just breathe. Breathe it out. Just breathe it out. Allow yourself to get to a space where it's just like you're focused on your breathing. Just like that. Just breathe. Allow yourself to process and release. Let go of all of that tension that you're holding in. I think for some, you're very afraid of how this reading is going to go, because this reading is what you're using as either the catalyst for this decision you're afraid to make, or maybe just validation because you've already made the decision, you just want it validated. Or maybe this is the very thing, like whatever I'm going to end up saying today is going to be the very thing that's going to alter your life. I don't know why I say that, because I don't usually feel that. Excitement is building. This is huge. All right. So feminine in reverse. Okay. And then respect. So it's like maybe the feminine aspect is upside down. Maybe it's kind of like this fear-based thing, or maybe this is like an indication that there is a female, maybe like a mother figure, maybe a strong woman, who is in your life, a strong female figure in your life who sees you in an upside down manner, or your connection is upside down with them. What's important is that respect is liberally applied to this situation, to this connection, to both ends of the cord that was cut. It feels like someone tried to do some type of cutting of cords, this separation. That doesn't work. Cord cutting does not work. I'm being very honest with you. Cutting a cord does not work. It doesn't. That was introduced to shamanic lineages many, many, many generations ago, after the shamanic lines were infiltrated. There's a lot of things that were infiltrated. Anything that you see that is readily embraced by the general population, the Gen Pop, right? We're on a prison planet. This is the Gen Pop. Anything that is allowed to proliferate, those are things that have been infiltrated. They are things that have been infiltrated, and you have to use caution when you apply that type of information into your life. So I guess someone did some cord cutting type stuff, or maybe there was just a separation that occurred, and there's a lot of hurt feelings, a lot of toxicity, a lot of energetic bleed out that's occurring. Thank you for this comment, Lindsay. So let's see. Oh, what does a star mean? If I star it, ooh, 3 dots puts the user in timeout or blocks them. That's pretty badass. Here we go. I'm not trying to block you, Lindsay. I was just curious what the dots meant. Lindsay says, if you'd like to join us for the Cord Lab workshop, where we learn about energetic cords and how to address them, please visit that link on the screen. This is something that's really needing to be corrected. It is some type of pain that's really, really just, it's like it still stings. It's almost like it's, have you ever tried to heal road rash? Road rash is a very interesting type of wound. So unless it's covering over a certain percentage of your body surface, they tend to not be fatal, right? They tend to just be something that is ridiculously painful. And depending on the depth of the road rash, how many layers of your dermis is scraped off, that's going to determine how much it hurts. And it's not necessarily that the deeper it goes, the more it hurts. There's this sweet spot in the dermis where that's where all the nerve endings end up. Not all, but a large percentage of the nerve endings. And when you scrape that off, like the pain of that, it's not just the pain of the injury, the pain of the sensations you feel as the nerve endings attempt to heal themselves. The healing is painful. It's painful, and it's like this pain that just won't stop. And the thing with road rash and why it's such a proper metaphor for however this person was injured, again, it's not a fatal type of wound usually, unless you enter into sepsis or something. The reason it's so appropriate of a metaphor is that the best way to heal road rash is to keep it moist with sterile dressing, with, say, a manuka bandage, a manuka honey bandage, right? Medicinal honey, where it can help with that viral, bacterial, fungal load. It helps address that. And not just that, it helps to keep this moisture barrier so that it doesn't dry out and cause more wounds. And it's this thing of like, dang, they had to cover the wound for so long. And although it was covered, it still hurt every time it was touched, every time it was touched, every time it was touched. And I think they finally, whoever this refers to, has gotten to a point where it's like, the bandage is coming off. Enough layers of skin have been regenerated. It's not fully healed yet, but there are enough layers of skin where you no longer need that medical grade honey, that very medical grade type of, like a Tagaderm type of bandage. It still hurts though. And I think a lot of what's happening right now is that there is a need for whoever this is for you. There was a need for this person to accelerate the healing process through exposure. So once that road rash gets to a certain point in its healing, it's no longer beneficial to keep it covered and moist, right? I tell you guys, I would have been an amazing triage nurse and wound care specialist. There's just something about wounds where when it gets to a certain point, it's best left to air out, to allow it to kind of dry up a little bit. And I think that's where this wound is at, where it's ready to be left uncovered, exposed to the environments. And oh, that's just so painfully poetic. No longer hiding that wound, no longer covering it, no longer pretending while still guarding that wound, waiting for something else to hurt it, right? Mm. Mm-mm-mm. Mm. I'm hearing secondary layer, a secondary insulation layer. So I think part of the message here is for whoever it sounds like, whoever this is, it sounds to me like there's not just this healing externally, there's been a healing internally as well. All of that toxicity that was allowed to enter into the system because of the exposure from that wound, layers were scraped off through that process of separation. It's almost like two people were clinging to each other and life was tearing them apart. And that clinging, that the nails digging into the flesh to hold on so desperately. Mm. And that introduced some form of xenobiotic, some pathogenic type thing, some toxicity. It might have torn open wounds from childhood, and that's what they were dealing with this whole time. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Let's look at the last two cards. Yep. There's no more boundaries. The incubation period is coming to a close, and it's almost like they want you to incubate with them. They want to bring you into their most sacred of spaces, to just share that space, to just share that space and exist, to coexist. Oh my God, that's beautiful. This coexistence that's being asked of you. So there's no ulterior motive. There's just a desire to coexist. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. Okay, this is something they're not letting go of. This is. Okay. Okay. Michael says you're on a roll. Keep going. Don't focus too much. Then he told me to turn on my fan. I know. I struggle with temperature regulation. I struggle with it. I struggle with it. Whew. Okay. All right. I'm getting real hot. All right. So, rebirth of magic and shedding cycle. This is something they're not letting go. And this is not a rebirth of the magic. This is a concentration of what's always been there. There's something that's coming to the surface, and whatever it is, it ties into a past life. A past life that is so profound that it's been being lived concurrently, right? This is someone who is a multi-dimensional, multiverse type of person, extremely advanced type of human being. Ancestral magic. A lot of that magic coming through, a lot of that courage from the ancestors. I think, and please forgive me if my opinion is a bit abrasive, but I really think that we, as the current adult generation and the generations that have come after us, I think we kind of suck. Okay. I think we kind of suck because it's like from our generation younger, we've lost the courage of our forefathers. We've been watered down and taught that words are all that's needed and there's no action needed, and that we're somehow entitled because we've spoken the words. It sucks. It sucks. I don't know if it's just me being harsh because I come from a third world country. And in a third world country, you either do what you need to do or you got nothing. You got nothing. And, you know, I don't know. I don't know. I think I'm finding this space in between my ancestry and the current truth of my trajectory where I'm not all or nothing, right? I'm not either or, I'm and. I'm this and that. And as a first generation immigrant, I come from the type of childhood where if you get hurt, you better clean that wound yourself or I'm going to beat your ass because I told you to quit playing outside. That's the kind of childhood I had. Okay. You do what I say or I'm going to beat your ass. And sometimes you won't even hear that. You'll be told to do something, and if you don't do it, you're getting your ass beat. Okay? So, I mean, I don't know that I agree with that. If you cry, you're going to get your ass beat. If you're about to cry, you're trying not to cry, I'm going to give you something to cry about. Ooh. You know? I don't know about that, but I don't know about just crying and crying and crying and crying and crying. What are you crying for? I don't know. Okay, why don't we find out what you're crying about? Right? Like, I mean, it's not bad to cry, but it's definitely not good to not know what you're releasing. And I think too many of us have gotten to a point where it's like, well, I got that when I was a kid and I'm fine. Really? Are you fine? Because you seem pretty upset about the way you grew up. You seem pretty like you think you deserve better than I got. Okay, well, yeah, kind of. I kind of do. And I kind of feel like you deserved better than what you got yourself. And so I'm not going to repeat that. I'm just not going to repeat that. And I think a lot of what needs to happen now is we tap into the strongest parts of our ancestry and leave behind the most toxic portions. Girl, Ocean Lover, I told you to stop playing. Girl, I don't know who told my family what, but everyone thought I was going to be Miss Universe. And I'm just like, I don't even like dresses. As a kid, I was a total tomboy. I don't even like dresses. What do you mean Miss Universe? I don't want none of the crap. I don't like makeup. I don't like any of that stuff. But that was the thing. That was the thing is that there were so many expectations of me as a child. I wasn't allowed to be me. I had to be what I was told I was going to be. I was going to be a very successful medical professional in addition to Miss Universe. Like, first off, I didn't even cross the 5'5" mark. If you're 5'5", you're a giant to me. Stop it. Stop it. You know? I'll be talking about short girl problems and someone's like 5'6" talking about no one cares if you can reach the top shelf. I don't care if you can reach the top shelf. I can't. Stay out of the convo. You see what I'm saying? People have really placed upon your shoulders their expectations of you. And I mean, granted, you know, a lot of these examples that I'm giving about my own personal experiences are extreme examples, but I'm sure all of you have something that someone in your history told you you are going to be or that you are. And for many of you, you took that in as your truth. Damn. Maybe you had to experience what you experienced to find what you needed to find. I was watching this video yesterday. I was supposed to be getting ready for my class to teach my class. Oh, but no, I couldn't do that because first I had to clean my fan. And then I had to finish this long video on this Christian man who was taking hallucinogenics. And he's like trying to say, you know, because of his experiences and the fear involved in the use of hallucinogenics, um, he kept using because he was afraid and he was trying to conquer that fear. And then one day he was about to enter into a bad trip and he told himself to just chill out because, you know, no one's ever died from hallucinogenics. It's not like, you know, I'm going to die off of this, is along the lines of what he was telling himself. And then he claims to have heard the voice of God, who then told him, I can stop your heart from beating at any time I want. And then he felt he was humbled, or I don't really remember the whole video. But there was this part in the video where he's talking about he kind of wants to go into these spaces where people are on their hallucinogenics, their ayahuasca, their San Pedros, their DMT, their, you know, all of these hallucinogenics, the acid trips and this and that. And and he's like trying to convince people who are seeking divinity that they won't find it there, and that he did all of these things only to learn that they don't find God through that. But then I'm over here like, but yes, it is how you found God. Because it was in that moment of loss of inhibition that you got clarity from all the other experiences where you lost your inhibition and found nothing. And all of those disappointments that were merely experiences of being high, those primed you for this moment where you actually believe you communed with God. So I'll tell you guys something. I'm not big on mind altering substances. I don't even drink wine coolers. I think it's caca for me. I don't smoke. I'm reactive to THC. I've just, you know, yeah, I barely use petrolatum based toiletries. I'm just really sensitive to everything. I can't use any type of chemicals. I can't be around perfumes and colognes. I'll die. I will die, literally. And that's not to say that I haven't experienced anything. It's not to say that at all. See, when I think I was 16, maybe 17. I was like 16 and a half. Yeah, I think I was 16 and a half. I went to a private school, a private Catholic school, a private college preparatory Catholic school. They were very strict, very, very strict. And there was an entire waiting list to be able to attend this high school. And it's the belief in the communities and the surrounding cities that this high school is the most superior high school in quite possibly the whole of California, right? They claim that if you got a C in this school, a C in one of the classes, to colleges that kind of reads as like a B because they're so strict, that this high school is producing all the future leaders. That's why all the parents paid so much for us to go to school there. Well, there was this guy who went to school with me. He sat behind me in Spanish class, 7th period Spanish class. He also, we had theology class, I think 4th period or 3rd period, something like that. We sat near each other. We were walking from the parking lot one morning. We were walking towards school. And he starts talking to me on my carpool about acid. Yeah. You know where this story is going? Yeah. I was about 16 and a half. And it's less than a block to get to the school. It's actually the parking lot behind the school. And from that distance, he offered me acid, and I was like, "Oh, that's really small." You know, when you color with a black crayon and you press too hard and you get these little black flakes on your paper? It was that size. Apparently, they're called Black Pyramid and they're infused with LSD. And I decided to take one as I was walking to class, right when the school days started. So I did. I took acid. Don't recommend it. I don't recommend it. This man claims that he's taken all of these hallucinogenics his entire adulthood, basically, and he never once met God. I met God in a theology class as we watched a video on the horrors of Hiroshima. Mm-hmm. To see their kimonos burned into their flesh. I also saw God in Spanish class, Mr. Meek Enrique's class, where this guy who gave me the acid sat in front of me. And as I was going through some seriously bad visuals, he turned around and he looks at me. He goes, "You like it? You got to pay for the next one." At which point I looked at him and I was like, "You're a white devil." And he's like, "You're a white devil." That's what I said to him. I did. I said that to him. And then I raised my hand and I asked Mr. McHenry, "Senor Meek Enrique?" "Diablo, Blanco Diablo is muy mal. Blanco Diablo is muy mal." And he's like, "What?" I was like, "No, he needs to be moved away from me." I said, "Yes, the white devil is very bad." And everyone thought it was hilarious. I did not. I did not think it was hilarious. At which point he told me Senora Garcia. Because then by then I was standing up. And he was like, "Siéntate, Senora Garcia." Yeah, he told me to sit down. He said, "Cállate la boca." He told me to shut up and sit down. Well, see, here's the thing, though. I never heard God's voice. I felt it. I felt it. Because after that, I had to go to my anatomy class and we were doing a dissection of a cat cadaver. And I saw what God created. The intricacy of the design, of the anatomical function, of how living things are created from systems paired with systems paired with systems. I saw the destruction. I saw the creation. I saw the juxtaposition of the opposing polarities. And it blew my mind. It blew my mind. And it just so happened the day I decided to do LSD for the first time in my life, I had a major badminton tournament. I did. And I could not do the warm-up drills because I was going to vomit everywhere. And so my coaches told me to go lay on the bench, go lay on the bleachers. And I did. And it just so happens the ceiling of the gymnasium was that popcorn material. Do you guys remember in the 90s, there's this fruit drink called Fruitopia? That's what the ceiling and the walls look like. The walls didn't to see the way the patterning was extrapolated at a specific point to create things that were not originally created. And I was able to see not God as a figure that humanity created, but God as the essence that created humanity. It took me many years to see. In that gymnasium, I met God in creation because it wasn't a kaleidoscope. I was being allowed to travel multidimensionally in that same time-space matrix I was in. Back through to the beginning. I went through the tube, the umbilicus to creation. And I saw how everything was formed. And I've never spoken about it. I've never spoken about it until right now. But that forever changed my brain. It changed the trajectory of where my life would head. Because it gave me a taste of what my future would be. Not someone who dabbles in that type of energy, but someone who fully understands I'm made of that. I come from that, and I am recreating that in this life here and now. So it's not the substance that's bad. It's what you do with it. It's your intention. It's the way you allow it to govern you. Would I ever do LSD again? Nope. No. No, I never would. I wouldn't even smoke bud or any of that. I'm good. No, thank you. No, thank you. I think a lot of what we need to do at this point is really allow the magic that already exists within us to become more externalized. An external experience. Too much of your truth and your power lives inside you. Just too much. Too much of your truth and your power is buried away. And maybe once upon a time you were wounded, you were injured by, I don't know what. Other people's expectations of you, that sense of you failing other people's what they need you to be. Why do they need you to be that? Because they can't be that for themselves? And see, here's the thing. I've been the way I am even before the LSD. The LSD just simply suspended my inhibition to the degree that I did not interfere with the experience. I've always been this way. I've never had an awakening. I've never had any of that. I was born awake. I've never been a regular child. I just never have. I never have. Unfortunately. Now, I'm not telling you guys to do anything or not do anything. I'm telling you what you do is your choice. And if what you do carries with it the intention that is in alignment with what the experience is intended to give you, then you can have something that can assist you. But be honest with yourself. Be very, very honest with yourself. Why are you doing what you do? And it goes beyond the mind-altering substances. It goes even as deep as every single day-to-day decision you make. Why do you do what you do? Do you do it to avoid? Do you do it to confront? Do you do it to heal or tear yourself open further? There's a lot that goes on in your day-to-day life, and whatever you choose to do must be chosen by you. I feel very, very strongly that regardless of what you choose, you will end up where you're supposed to be, which is where that space of growth, Attract sigil in reverse. I think for some, we have to begin realizing we're not attracting these situations to us. We are being tasked to create them. We are the co-creators of the experiences that we have. Allow the excitement to build. Create something that is massively life-altering for you in the most positive way. Galactic assistance. You don't need galactic assistance. You don't need any type of assistance. Your existence alone is enough to create the situations and experiences that you need. So start creating. Card number 42, redirection sigil. Allowing yourself to be redirected by your own soul. Sometimes we'll go towards something only to be turned away from it. Why? Because that's not where we needed to be when we were going to be there. Sometimes it's simply delaying you. Other times it is completely blocking the path. Respect what your soul is telling you. It's a lot of communications coming through. Blue ray awakening and soul separation. They're in reverse. So this is someone that is just as intense, just as deep as you are. They probably didn't go through any type of awakening either. They probably was just always super duper intense, if you are intense. This is someone who there was a separation that occurred. Remember, I was saying earlier how it was this like visual, this sense that I was being given where the currents were ripping you apart. And it's like you trying to claw onto each other to hold on. And it didn't work. And there was a separation that happened. Something someone let go, communication was halted. There was a lot of chaos. There was a lot of outside static. It dulled the shine of the very thing that you held within you, like worlds within worlds, and that shine in reverse, these two cards in reverse. It's like if you're dealing with a person, this person is your entire world that existed within you. And when you were told because of the interference that, oh no, just that's not worth it, that's not worth your time, that like shook you. That shook you that the people that you've trusted, because you lacked the willingness to see their toxicity. That toxicity's always existed. It didn't just start then. It's always existed. They've always manipulated you into believing what they want you to believe. Damn. If they were the ones that initiated this separation, maybe it's because they were trying to separate you from someone they knew could actually see. It's very hard for me to be part of a group. It's usually after a minimal amount of time. Certain people within any group, it's a certain type of personality within any group, they'll start to have an issue with me, even though I'm just kind of just quietly existing, right? And why is that? They're usually the queen bees of that group, the ones who like to dictate everything, right? Everyone's going to listen to them. You see, I'm not a good listener in that way. I can listen. I can hear someone truly and fully. I can hear the truth that they obscure with their words. And then I see who they really are. And those kind of people, they tend to not like me. Why? Because I'll call you out on your bullshit. And even if I don't, I'm not going to comply. I'm just not. Yeah. You can round up all your little bees. It's okay. It's okay. You can go ahead and do that. I'm not afraid. And they don't like that. They don't like that I have no fear even when I'm standing all alone. They don't like that. They prefer only to have people in the group who are also very docile and very easy to control, people who they can dictate things to. And I think maybe part of what happened was whoever this other person is, they're probably a part of a group like that. The most toxic type of individuals who like to form their little gang mentality, their little gang-like community. And, you know, I don't care. I don't care. You can be the liar that you are, just don't be that around me or about me. I'll call you out on your stuff. And I'll do it to your face too. I'll call you out, like bold face right there. Wow, you're really good at lying. Have you always been this way? I've been known to say that. And I'm serious too. Someone was saying something in front of other people one time. And I don't do this to embarrass people. It just came out of my mouth because I was very impressed. I knew what was happening. No one else knew. I knew what was happening. And this person comes in and thinks no one knows. And they told everyone a complete lie about what was happening. And I was like, wow, you're a really good liar. Like, have you always been that way? I didn't realize that that's an abrasive thing to say. I was literally impressed with how good they lie. Like that just, wow, that just came out your mouth. You didn't even flinch. If I didn't know any better, I would think you actually believe that lie. They didn't like that. Yes, Nina, use that line. Oh my gosh, wow, you're a good liar. Have you always been that way? How'd you learn to do that? I don't know. I don't know if what needs to happen has already happened or if that's the huge thing that's coming forward. So lack of integrity, refusal to allow a new chapter to begin, a desire for you to believe the lies, and a disconnection on a cosmic level. Integrity, new chapter in reverse. Whoever is being dealt with has a lack of integrity and refuses to allow this to go. Okay. They just holding on and they're holding on. You know how you can get someone to let go? You take the biggest slotted wooden spoon that you have. You let that soak in water for about an hour. It becomes waterlogged. It stings so much more. How do I know this? I don't know. Maybe in a past life I was a dominatrix. And it tends to not leave marks. And the slots in the wooden spoon reduces the air resistance when you go to thwack it. I'm just saying. From my lips to your ears, it's just between us. You know what I'm saying? Some people like that kind of thing. Oh my God. Okay. Card number 4, believe. And then card number 11, cosmic connection in reverse. This is someone who wants you to believe that the cosmic connection still exists, but it's upside down. It's no longer there. It's time to move forward. Carry on, 'cause nothing really matters. Mama just killed a man, put a gun against his head. That's not a good song to sing. Too late, everybody. I've got to go. Okay, whoa. What is going on here? This is some succubus type stuff. This is some succubus type stuff. Ooh. Y'all know how to choose them, don't you? I've got to go. Gotta leave them all behind this crazy world. Mama, ooh, didn't mean to make you cry. If I'm not back again this time tomorrow, carry on. This is some crazy ass stuff, you guys. This is just... I see a little silhouette of a man. Scaramouche. Can you do the fandango? Here's the thing. The way this story plays out, this is just... I don't even want to read these cards. All right. I'll give you all your message. Here. Sucking the air right out of you. Just sucking the air right out of your lungs. Oh, by the way, air. Breathing deep, entering into life, exchange of life, bringing energies. This is someone who sucks the air right out of you. Wave of power after they've done that, after they've taken your ability to communicate, because air for me is a form of communication. What is the exhalation? When you're letting that air go, right? The air that you take into your lungs, you release it. And if while you are releasing it, you are also modifying the constriction of your larynx, the positioning of your tongue, your jaw, your lips, all of that, that's communication. You need that exhalation in order to verbally communicate. So now that they've taken your ability away to tell your story and your truth, they're basking in the glory of the wave of power, a surge of power, upswing in energy, exhilarating movement. That is the best position to punch him in the throat. Oh, shit. Let me behave myself. So I told you guys that I cleaned my fan yesterday, right? Because I was avoiding class. I was avoiding preparing for my class because I'm not sure why. And so I took my fan. Yeah, I was cleaning every single little slot just like this before I took it apart to do that to the inside as well. Alakaboola, menjikadoola, bibbity bobbity boo. Put them together and what have you got? Bibbity bobbity boo. Someone's trying to do some magical witch doctor shit to you and you're letting them. You should never let people get away with that type of foolery. Should always be a lot of heavy-handed correction when it comes to things like that. Y'all got me so stressed out. I'm cleaning my fan with a paintbrush. A paintbrush. I'm just saying, you know, I can't take foolery like that. It makes me aggressive. And so I get out my paintbrush and I start dusting things with it to dislodge the crud. I'm about to start putting hair tracks in my hair right now because I don't want to deal with this reading. Whew, I don't want to deal with this reading. I'm just saying, because look, here's you trying to be all independent, right? Independence, self-determination. But it's like you have to leave your spaces of comfort and ease to be able to do this. They did this to you in the ocean. They did this underwater, and you have to leave that environment to gain your freedom. But see, they're not going to let you go easily. They're just not. Succubus. This is straight up succubus energy. Yearning, longing for someone, undesired separation, pining away. Look at that. He don't even want it. Girl, can you please get your nipples off of him? He doesn't want it. See that? See that right there? You see that? Gentlemen, for the few gentlemen who watch me, I'm going to give you a life hack right now. When you are trying to have a serious conversation with a woman and she places her nipples on you, you're going to lose that conversation. You have to leave that equation because you've already lost. And she knows it. That's why she's pinning you down with a pair of nipples. I'm just saying. Tell me a guy who's been able to withstand that trick. Do any of you know a guy who can? Tell me. Hmm? I'm just saying. See? You see this man right here? If you don't want to agree to something, one of my cockamaniac ideas, right? I've lost my cockamaniac mind, and I have a cockamaniac idea that I've hatched, and I present it to you, and you don't want to agree. What happens to you, Friday? What happens to you? I tell you, I'm going to whisper something to you as I drag my nipples all the way up to your head. Just drag it all the way across. What? That's what we do. That's what they're for. They're subjugation tools. I would like to know. And sometimes if they're very skilled, I don't even have to drag anything. I just be like, and he's like, what are you doing? Nothing, I have an itch. I'm joking. I'm so joking, you guys. Get this silly hoe off of you. I'm just saying. Y'all gonna kill me. Oh my God. Y'all be too much. Who else? We'll have Kali and Kuan Yin come out to talk to you. Yes. Oh, this is the wrong two. Yes. If I were a dude and a woman did that to me and we're in the heat of an argument, I would like, ma'am, please get your nipples off of me. Excuse me, ma'am, your nipples are touching me. Men, I'm teaching you how to protect yourself. Take notes. Take notes. This is what we do. Trying to look out for you guys. All right, guys. So give me a number. Give me a number. Let us see. All right, we'll do this one. Oh, okay, 2 of you. Come on out. And then this. Oh, stay in there. And then we already did this. So hold on. Let me shuffle it again. Yeah, I was thinking like single digit numbers because that's a lot of cards to be pulling out. I'm just saying, okay. So we do this. We'll do 5 because who said it first? I think it was Moonrock. Oh no, it was Lindsay. Lindsay said it. Okay, we do 5 and then that's it. Here goes. Excuse me. Oh, you're dealing with a Gemini. This is a Gemini and he wants nothing to do with your nipples because he has his own. Let's see. Card number 41. Y'all think I'm joking? I'm not. I'm so serious. He's not going to fall for your nipple trick. He's not going to fall for your nipple trick. Let's look. I'll show you the card. See, look. He's blocking your nipples. He's blocking your nipples. He's like, I got my own. See that? There, he's not amused. He's just like, no, I have my own nipples. All right. And for someone, I think it was Ocean Soul who said that the nipple trick won't work on men who are not straight. I beg to differ. I distinctly remember at 18, I had a ton of gay friends when I worked at the mall. And one of them worked at the Gap. And he was just running his mouth. I walked behind him and I went, and he stopped what he was saying. He turns around. He's like, bitch. I was like, what? Were those your nipples? He's like, and I was like, yeah, it shut you up though, right? And it did. And he didn't know what to say after that. It works. It literally works. It works. It does. But I don't know if it will work for you. It works for me. I literally like all the way across his back. Yeah. And then Shantae, he would say that when I walked past. Shantae, right? Because he was like, this is my hot friend. I don't know. I think it will work for you. But I'm not telling you to try it. I'm just saying. There's a spiritual intelligence within your soul. It's the genius of becoming, of ripening from potential into glorious manifestation. Intimate communion with your own heart will reveal what it is you truly yearn for and set the process in motion for that yearning to be satisfied. The holy fire is Kali, and she is within your soul. Follow the yearning, seek the light. Let yourself burn bright for what inspires you, and you shall see the path to fruition clearly before you. Believe in what is meant to be. Ooh. That was said with zero hesitation. I'm just saying, if you're gonna go for something, go with both your pews blazing. It's just like that. You know what I'm saying? Both blazing. Just saying. If you have inverted nipples, because some people do, if you have inverted nipples, that nipple trick is not going to work because your nipples are sunken in. You're going to have to get that out somehow. If I might recommend, depending on the positioning of that inversion, you could probably do an opposing position with a nipple piercing, and that will force it to come out. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. What? Nipple piercings can correct that. My hypothesis. That is my hypothesis, that you could definitely correct that with a nipple piercing. It's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. If one of you guys will let me pierce your nipples, I'll get certified in piercings. We've had this discussion before. Well, a breast milk pump will only temporarily pull it out, and sometimes not even all the way. So you're going to need that post to hold it out. I'm just saying. If one of you will let me pierce your nipple, I'll get certified in it. I'm just saying. Okay, let me stop. Stop. Card number 4. Card number 4. Oh my Lord. Call of the Dancing Crane. Dancing crane moves through waters and muddy marsh with elegance and grace. The mating call and dance of the crane is full of beautiful movement and flow. There are times when the astral waters of our emotional life become stagnant and will benefit from the healing movement, grace, and beauty of the dancing crane. The call of the dancing crane is a reminder that sound can be healing too. This is particularly so when your thoughts, beliefs, and emotional patterns do not support you in living the spiritual destiny you were born to live. So these two cards together, it's like, go for it. Go for it. Go all the way. Just do it all the way. Turn out with your out. You ever heard that saying? I haven't had any sugar. This is what happens when I ovulate. Conversations are strictly about nipples and domination. Let me stop. Let me stop. All right. La 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 la. Dumavati, beloved mother who dwells in the smoke, who presides over the most difficult transitions. She who knows that certain endings are unavoidable. They are necessary predecessors to radical reinvention. Her presence brings the message that though disappointment, defeat, or loss, and the negative repercussion. Her presence brings the message that though disappointment, defeat, or loss, and the negative repercussions of such experiences may cause suffering for a time, they will not limit your future happiness. They are a means for opening as yet unrecognized pathways for fulfillment. Your trust must be unconditional at this time, and later you shall see that everything has worked out for the absolute best. So it's this sense of the commitment you place in whatever this, questionable thing is. It can definitely pay out in the long run for you. It can lead to your fulfillment of your most cherished desire. Okay. Veil of Shadows. Card number 43. A lotus blossoms with deep, rich mud into which she plunges her roots and draws great nourishment. From this mud, made of water and earth, growth happens and great beauty is revealed. Your soul lotus thrives through depth of emotion and aliveness of your body, into which she can plant herself and unfold as a lotus of light. So, like for me, this is kind of this message of you don't have to be prim, proper, and polished to be acceptable. Whatever it is you're going through, that's the process with which you're becoming that. You're acceptable as you are right now. For the things that really, truly have a place within your life, you are acceptable as you are right now. There's nothing that needs to be changed, earned, altered, modified, whatever other, get a thesaurus out and find synonyms yourself. I'm just saying, you're good enough as you are right now. Card number 31. One. Okay. Chamunda. Her unerring instinct for spiritual protection arises spontaneously, even when we do not realize we need it. Sometimes we don't realize just how far we've become entangled in that which is not good for us. We do not realize we need Kali's powerful intervention. Knowing what to allow and what to fight for or against requires wisdom. Someone's heart is beating so fast. I feel it in my throat. Take a deep breath and hold it. Seriously. And then slowly exhale and hold it. There. Do it again. Your heart's pounding. It's pounding. It's pounding to the degree that I'm going to sedate you because you need some sedation. This Jesus, Mary and Joseph, drink some water. I'm serious. Drink some water. You got to slow that heart rate down. You're going to make both of us pass out. It's like pounding and pounding. It's like heavily pounding. Okay, so I'm going to send some sedation. I know you're trying, whoever this is, you're trying really hard to calm down. And I don't know what I've said. Maybe it's the whole reading. Maybe it's the nipples thing. I don't know, but I've said something and it's caused your heart rate to go through the roof. Yes. I'm going to sedate you. Breathe deep and slow, okay? You're going to be perfectly fine. Whatever you're going through in this period, you've already made your decisions. Everything is kind of already set. Just flow with it. Write it all the way out. You're going to be perfectly fine. Card number 31. Her unerring instinct for spiritual protection arises spontaneously, even when we do not realize we need it. Sometimes we don't realize just how far we've become entangled in that which is not good for us. We do not realize we need Kali's powerful intervention. Knowing what to allow and what to fight for or against requires wisdom. Holding the space for an inner or outer conflict to be resolved involves discipline. Chamunda is the fearlessness, wisdom, patience, and discipline needed to conquer a difficult situation. She's with you now. Wild Black Chamunda is a ferocious warrior goddess. She takes her name from Chanda and Munda, two great demons whom she defeated. Thus, her name is a symbol of gaining power. Her presence indicates that you shall not only overcome an obstacle, but gain complete mastery over the energies that gave rise to it. You shall never be troubled by it again. Ooh. Wow. Drenched in blood red light, representing her life force and power. Chamunda has multiple arms which indicate her divine activity. The skull and the crescent moon resting atop a funeral pyre form her crown, symbolizing her status as a goddess of death and karmic retribution. Yet she is protective. Her 3 deeply socketed eyes are so intense they are said to burn away the evil in all worlds and dimensions. She provides protection from destructiveness, including gossip and other kinds of black magic, which, not unlike gossiping, uses intention, words, and action to work against another's well-being. Chamunda is referred to as queen by her soul tribe, a group of ancient mother goddesses known as the Matrikas. She is the only one worshipped independently and the only one not connected to a masculine consort. She is an independent, fierce, and unique emanation of the wild feminine power of Devi, the great divine goddess. She is an expression of Kali, referred to interchangeably with Kali Ma and the Puranas, ancient Hindu texts that date back more than 2,000 years. The Matrikas express a consciousness that is potentially protective and destructive, depending on your actions. I'm going to say something controversial. When people try and destroy you and your correction requires their destruction, that's justified. That's justified. And the fact that you question it tells me your purity of your intentions, the depth of your integrity. Sometimes the only way people will learn is if they receive the very thing they're giving. And if they're generous with destruction, so shall you be. Correction is necessary. Not for everyone, but there are those who are listening right now who are afraid to take the corrective measures. Sometimes it's necessary. I'm one of those that really don't like to take corrective measures. It takes a lot. It takes a lot. But it's something that when I'm there, we're going all the way. You don't get to get off the ride. You've already buckled yourself into the roller coaster. You've already set the timer for the roller coaster to launch you forward. I'm going to sit right beside you. And we're going to ride this bitch all the way to the end. So unless you want to ride a roller coaster with me, and I'm the kind of person, I love roller coasters. And if you're scared of roller coasters, I'm going to look you in the eyes and scream in your face the entire time while I laugh. Look, ma, no hands. So it seems like someone has tried to create a roller coaster for you. And they've tried to lure you into the roller coaster by first buckling themselves in with the intention of waiting until you're buckled in and getting out at the last minute. I don't think so. I don't think so. That's not how it works. You want to ride? Let's ride. It says a lot if you're not afraid. Don't be afraid. I've had people who I don't know in the years that I've been publicly visible, and they've attempted to come on my live streams and try and do really nasty things. They've tried to do very dark deeds to me while I'm live streaming. And to that I say, what kind of protection does a girl like me have that I'm not afraid of you, your coven, your entire group? I'm not afraid of your ancestry. I'm not afraid of your intentions or your skill. I'm so not afraid I show up every day. Doesn't that tell you something? Approach your life in that same way. Don't be afraid. Allow your life to happen the way it's meant to happen. Your life is going to happen no matter what. I don't know if you realize that. Your life will unfold no matter what, with your compliance, without it, with your permission, without it. Your life will happen. You can let life happen paralyzed by fear, at which point you'll be dragged along, or you can skip into that joint, sing your song, and be merry as you let life happen. I've done both. I've done both. And I tell you, something beautiful happens when you just go with it. Go with it. I've never lost anything that hasn't been replaced by something even better. While taking corrective measures that are necessary, why does it still hurt? Do you really want to know why? If you really want to know why, I'll answer your question. But if that's a rhetorical question, I'll just leave it alone. Okay. So you really want to know why? When you have to take corrective measures, it hurts because you'd never do that to them and you don't understand why they did that to you. What about you was not enough? What about you did they hate so much that they could do this to you? And really, the only problem there, the reason for your pain, the root causation of that pain is that you expected your heart to come out of someone who isn't you. And now I know. Now I know not to expect the way I love to come from other people. Now I know that just because I can no longer expect the way that I love others, the way that I support, empower, defend others, cannot come out of other people, I can then go ahead and do that for myself. Because see, I've learned, if I'm in the presence of someone who can't do that for me, I'm in the presence of someone I should do that for me against. You see what I mean there? That in itself helps me to really give myself that permission to cherish myself. I don't hurt other people. Like what you see of me in live streams is a valid part of me. It's a real aspect of myself. It's not some act that I put on. It's not some character that I play for the camera. This is a part of me. And everything you see that is a part of me on my live streams are just the surface levels of me. So if you can see my softness, my vulnerability, the way I can be fractured, you have no idea the depth that goes. And when I'm in the presence of a person who doesn't honor that, well, then Kali has to come out of me. I'm not just a Kali. I'm not just a Kuan Yin. I'm a goddess in the flesh, capable of being both simultaneously. And I finally reached a place of personal power where I can give myself permission to be both concurrently. And it's okay. It's okay for you to have standards and not be sorry for those standards. It's okay for you to have a voice and know how to use it with strength. Sometimes the most powerful thing is to whisper. Other times it's to allow that reverberation to not just be heard, but be felt. Whatever it is that I need to give myself permission for is what I'm going to give myself permission for. I'm not going to live my life half-ass anymore. Because you know what happens when you halt yourself from saying what you wanted to say, what you needed to say, what was necessary for that communication. You will spend months, if not years, replaying that same scenario in your head, thinking of all the different things you should have said instead, or the things that you should have added before you stopped talking. This right here. I don't think hurting people will ever be the answer. I've learned much. You only will do what must be done when necessary. As long as your intention is not to hurt, it is not your fault they're hurt by truth. It's just not. It's just not. As long as you are merely intending to communicate the truth and the need that is being disrespected, disregarded, you're not intending to hurt someone. What is wrong with responsibly using your ability to communicate? And just because someone's feelings get hurt because they didn't hear what they wanted to hear does not make you a bad person. It does not make you hurtful or harmful. It makes you empowered. So use that power responsibly. And no peace will ever be sustained so long as you continue to make that war internal, when in reality, it's an external situation. Staying quiet for the sake of peace where peace does not exist does not bring peace into the situation. It just doesn't. I've done that for too many years. This keeping quiet because if I say something, I'm too honest. I say it in a too strong way. It's too passionate. It's not my problem that you can't handle the truth. As long as my intention is robed in my integrity, I have a right to speak and be heard. And I'm not talking about a constitutional right. I'm talking about cosmic law, celestial law. I have a right as a living sentient being to use the voice I was given with no fear, no shame, no hesitation. Get to a point where you feel so powerful that you can handle the consequences of everything you say. There will be consequences for everything you say. Everything you decide in life, the action or lack thereof, carries with it a consequence, an end result. My children know the word consequence is not a punishment. It's not a veiled threat. It's a reality of decision, causation, and effect. You choose a causation and life will show you its effects. Everything that you struggle through is a result of a causation you selected without even realizing that causation would trickle down to this effect. As I used to tell my toddlers, I don't care if Jesus come back and was the one tell you to do that stuff. If Jesus tell you to do things that makes you a naughty person, you let Jesus know, can you please talk to my mom because my mom said don't do that. I don't care if Jesus told you to do it. You're still responsible. You see that? My children know. It does not matter who told you to do it. You are the only one who will be forced to harvest the fruit seeds you are planting. If you are tending to those seeds, you are ensuring their growth in your mind. I only tend to the seeds that I actually want to grow. And if those seeds create imbalance, or if they take the peace out of my mind's garden, they're getting ripped out. I'm digging them up and I'm throwing them away. And no, thank you. Or I might even just leave them there and let them shrivel up and die. They will not get my tears. They will not get the sun. They will get nothing but dirt. You see the difference between planting and burying? When you bury something, you leave it alone. You pretend it no longer exists. And eventually it will cease to. But when you plant something, you continue to tend to it. You continue to check it. You continue to provide the very things that are necessary for that seed to grow. What toxic seeds have been planted in your garden? I have many, many toxic seeds that were buried, never to come to seedling or flower or any of that. Stay buried, bitches. Stay buried. And that's just how I live my life. You want to say something? Go ahead. Clear your throat chakra. You done? Feel better? Good. I wasn't listening, so I hope you feel better. Whatever it was you said, I don't know. But I hope it made you feel better getting it off your chest. Because I wasn't listening. You want to say something to me about something? What you want to say? Go on, say it. I mean it, say it. I'm not going to listen, but go ahead and say it. Go ahead and say it. It's okay. You didn't need my ears in that equation for your throat chakra to be cleared. Yeah, seriously. You can speak your truth, and it doesn't matter if they hear it or not. It's for you. When you speak your truth with the expectation of someone else being dominated by what you said, and now they have to comply, they have to submit, you are now in the process of attempting to subjugate another sovereign. That's not how it works. It's just not. That's not how it works. It's just not. You say things to communicate, but they have the right and the power to either hear you or not. Just like you have the right and the power. Shift that logic, Maria. I don't want to be hurtful to nasty individuals who don't deserve me. Your sentence, they are the subject. They are the focus of that communication. So in many ways, they still control you. It's a form of avoidance. You're avoiding, but they're the star of the show. It's their show. The focus is on them, their needs, their actions. Begin communicating in a way where you are the center of your life. I don't want to be hurtful to nasty individuals who don't deserve me. What's a way to shift that communication? To turn it around so that you can be your focus. I deserve peace, and so I need to leave this environment that doesn't add to my peace. That's a better way to say it. That's a better way to frame it within your mind, because that way you're talking about what you want, not what you don't want. Creation does not consider the not wanting part. All it knows is that's your focus. So that's what you will continue to notice. So that's what you will continue to receive. I no longer say I don't want blah, blah, blah. I say I want this. I don't, whether I want that or not, that's no, get that out of there. I want this, right? And I think if more of us are aware of the way our communication actually programs our experiences and expectations within that experience, we'll begin to see your perception alone is enough to really, really dictate how you will experience whatever you're going through. And there's nothing you have to be sorry about. I'm just trying to offer another perspective to see your circumstance from. Not saying you're wrong. I'm saying causation and effect. If you continue to choose the communication that is the causation for the continuance of the negative effect, then we have to identify that. We have to be able to get to this place where we can be like, oh, so I'm in some ways programming this. Sometimes when you're very focused on the negatives that people have done to you, it's completely normal and understandable. But that's the thing. If that's your focus, then that's all you're going to be waiting to experience. I think it was Rhonda who said a while back, like only negative, bad things happen. That's what they're used to. And that's what they expect. And it's like, if that's all you expect, that's all you're looking for. So even though good things are happening, you're so busy like something bad's going to happen, something bad's going to happen. And you don't see all of this goodness that keeps passing by, waiting for you to notice. It doesn't make you a bad person. It just shows that a lot of the traumas that you've experienced in life has really just permeated all the way through your perception, and it's kept you locked in that space. You got to untangle that little bit at a time, just untangle little bits at a time. And then eventually you'll see like, oh, I can just let it go now and shift to another focus. These are processes. They take time, they take effort, conscious effort. It's not something like you're just going to make a decision and suddenly you don't see life like that anymore. You don't think that way anymore. For me, when I go through these processes, a lot of what happens is this thing of like, I will think something and then I will be like, oh, okay, stop. There we go again. Like I'm doing it again. All right. What's a different way I could say this? So it's like, how can I see this differently? Well, this, and this suck. Yes, like it sucks. But I think my soul is teaching me about patience. My soul is teaching me about self-forgiveness, maybe some self-love. All right. So if I was advising someone else, trying to encourage someone else, how would I say it to kind of make it truthful, but more positive? And then I'll apply that to myself. It's just, it takes time though. It takes time. When you deal in absolutes, you have a tendency to lock yourself more into that experience. For example, someone disappointed you because they said they would help you set up for a party, And then 5 minutes before they're supposed to arrive, they say, oh, I can't anymore. I want to just sleep in a little bit longer. And so you begin with this mindset, this thought that triggers the mindset of everyone always disappoints me. Well, that's not true. That's not true. There are people who do disappoint you, but it's not everyone. It's specific people who consistently disappoint you. And if that's the case, I'm not going to ask you for help anymore. I'm not even going to accept your help anymore. So that way I don't feel that way. Right? And if someone else offers help, I'm going to tell myself, okay, there's a potentiality. We've never worked with you before. I don't really know how this is going to turn out. Let's see what happens. Let's see. And the times where I've done that, I've begun to really see like, okay, not everyone is out to screw me over. Not everyone is plotting something. Not everyone is trying to use me to, build off of me. And, that's not true. It's not everyone. There's a lot. Yeah, there is. But it's not everyone. So then I began to realize, oh, my soul is teaching me about discernment. Those people who really were doing these things, like I already felt that. But then I was telling myself, like, don't be like that. Don't be like that. Don't be mean. Don't be judgmental. We need judgment. We need to be able to judge as a component of discernment. So we need judgment to be able to see and know, okay, this is not going to be something that works out for me. Not allowing yourself to be shoehorned into something just because you don't want to hurt someone's feelings, right? Yeah. Hi, Maria. Yeah, I love this. I love your comment. All of us are learning from Emmy, first of all, and from each other's experiences too. Yes. When you guys find the courage to share in the comments, you are gifting someone with the opportunity to feel less alone, to feel more understood, to have this sense of camaraderie, community, I mean, how does it feel when you read someone's comment and they're going through something that either you're in the middle of it right now, or you just finished it and you're like, oh my God, girl, seriously, I'm going through the same thing. And it creates a sense of community where it's like, we got this, we can do this. Like, I just finished that process. And let me tell you, it was hard, but I got through it. Do you want to hear my story? Things like that. It's such a beautiful, powerful space to exist within when we can be this for each other, like really, really be this for each other. And see, I see nothing but wonderful things ahead of me. And yes, it's true. I know, have to say, get over it and stop the hamster wheel. They're still good people. And it's not that you have to stop and get over it. You know what I mean? You don't have to do that either. It's just a process of recognition where you're at within your process. Knowing you're in a hamster wheel is powerful. Why? Because now you know you're the one spinning the wheel. And sometimes you have to be in a hamster wheel because it burns up the extra energy. So then is it you're just full of drama and that's why you're in the hamster wheel? Or do you allow yourself to be in the drama because you have all this energy that you don't know what to do with because you're still very covertly in the process of avoiding your self-healing? And when you get into those spaces where you begin to recognize, like, a lot of the things that I used to do at different points in my journey, I was doing those things and it was like a hamster wheel because I was surging all of this energy for my self-healing process, but I was afraid to heal myself. And it's kind of just like, what am I doing? I didn't know what I was doing. And it's okay for me not to know, because when you go through these processes where you don't know, if you go through it long enough and you get frustrated with yourself, you're now empowered in a passionate way because you're like, I have to stop this, right? and then you stop it. Sometimes that's just the process that we're in. Like for me personally, no one can tell me to do anything if it doesn't resonate, even if it's something that's good for me. And then I have to go through my hamster wheel, and I have to burn up all of that energy that I use to avoid myself, to rebel against my own soul, against my own process. And then by the time I'm exhausted because I'm in that hamster wheel, then I'm like, all right, fine. I am too tired to fight with you today, soul. What do you want me to do? I'll just go ahead and do it. Sometimes that's just the process that we're in. We don't have to attack ourselves. We don't have to shame ourselves. We're just in this process, and it's a beautiful process. And when we can speak more freely, especially in the live streams, it's a very powerful thing. And I really encourage you guys to subscribe so you can comment, and comment a lot. Share things that are on your mind. And don't comment to get my attention. No, because I got a squirrel ass brain. I don't see most of the comments. I literally have a squirrel brain, and I don't see most of the comments. Comment so you can vent it out and get it out and begin the process of processing, right? I'm not talking about just vomiting toxicity. I'm talking about like intelligently communicating. I'm going through this right now, and it's like this, and the reading kind of brought this to my attention about myself, and it's kind of just an interesting thing, like that. And what ends up happening is you get to hear your voice. You begin the process of giving yourself permission to use your voice again. First, it's just typed out, and it's only on this live stream. And then next thing you know, it's on every live stream. And then next thing you know, you're kind of starting conversations with other people. And then it's not just on the live stream. It's not just in a messenger. You've found your voice, and you can speak your truth. And then you find you're free. That the cage door was always open. So I'm babysitting a good friend's dog. They had to go out of town for a few days for urgent family stuff. And I'm babysitting her puppy. And like I'm very sensitive to the emotions of living things. And her puppy is so afraid because, she doesn't know us. And then her family just left. And so they brought the crate, her dog's crate. They brought, it's a pug. She's a pug, and she's a baby. And so the crate is near the front door where they left it, and she's been in her crate. And we don't really force her out of her crate. The door's not locked. It's wide open. And my whole family has kind of just been taking turns sitting beside her crate and kind of just reassuring her, patting her a little bit, talking softly, trying to get her to eat like a piece of kibble. And so she's been here for 2 days. And today I went to go run an errand, and I got back, and we had fenced off so she has her crate and then like a little open fence. And so she's fenced off area. Joy can't get to her and pester her, she's just chilling. And it's like this thing of, I came and I see she's standing out of her crate. And I'm like, oh, Mochiko. She's getting comfortable. And that's the thing, that's such a beautiful analogy for the way many of us are. We stay within our crate because that's where we feel the safest, but that's also where we're the most confined. And it's really when you're comfortable that you then begin to find the courage to come out of your crate. We've kept her kind of separate from Joy just because Joy wants to play all day. She's like she's a nut. So Mochi's on her period. Joy's on her period. We're just a hot mess up in here. We just a hot mess. We just all emotional. No one can speak above a whisper to us girls, okay? He's just like, don't talk mean to us right now. So all three of us, we just chill in one little area. And that's the thing. It's comforting to be around the people who know what you're going through. I live in a house full of men. They don't know what it's like. Joy, because every time we're like, okay, we have to get her fixed. We have to get her fixed. And then next thing you know, when we're ready to get her fixed, she starts her period again because I'm always so busy. So that's what's happened, right? And everyone's like, oh, she's on her period again. I'm like, hey, that hurts our feelings. Speak softly to us. And you know, because they told her she was gross. My family told Joy Joy she was gross. And Joy Joy was very sad. She looked so depressed. She knows what the word gross means. She looked so depressed. And it's this thing of like, they don't know how sensitive you are and how emotional you feel based on the energy that's used when you're being communicated with. Like, my kids adore Joy Joy. She is like just the baby of the family and they all adore her. But they called her gross. They called her gross, and so she was sad, like very, very sad. You know that day that she was in the live stream with me the other day? That's why she was sad, because I told Mochi she's a good girl. And I didn't tell Joy Joy she's a good girl too. And she got jealous. And then she ran into the office and was like, I have to be reassured. Sometimes all we need is that reassurance. And that's what we do for each other in the comments. Please, I want all of you guys to know the gravity that you hold every time you share this space, every time you comment and hold space for someone else and their comment, every time that you try and empower someone else where you can feel that they're down and you know they're kind of just having a rough day. And I'm not talking about people who just consistently complain and complain and complain. That we have to have limits there, okay? And it's important for me to say this. It is important for me to say that. When someone consistently just complains, everything out of their fingertips is a complaint about something. There's never anything positive. That's a red flag. That's a red flag in a sea of green flags. Leave the red flag alone. Okay? But when you see someone comments often and, you know, they're always just pleasant commenter, and next thing you know, they're having a really rough day or a really rough week. I mean, gosh, it's kind of like, hey, are you okay? Like, I can feel there's a heaviness in your energy today. You know, that's how we become a community. It's a very beautiful thing. Yes, 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 yes. This right here. Judy! I'm glad you changed to subscribers only. I could always feel and sense negative energy, and I would not want to comment. I mean, do you notice a change in my energy as well? Like, we are all so sensitive to our environment. Do you understand how powerful that is? How powerful you are? And when you're in the environment of toxicity, even when they don't comment, just feeling it, it's kind of like, oh, I don't know if I want to comment. I feel like I need to hide. And that's how many of us live our day-to-day in real life environments. We hide ourselves. I hide myself a lot. I had a business meeting this morning, and the gentleman we had the meeting with, he's asking about the work that I do, and I wasn't giving him my company name or anything that he could like Google, right? Not because I'm ashamed, but because I'm kind of like, you know, what I do is sacred to me. I don't know you, sir. I don't know you like that, sir. But I was talking to him. This is like the second business meeting. And I was talking to him and he was asking me more questions. And I was actually talking about finding my voice and how I used to be extremely uncomfortable speaking to people in like face-to-face situations. And as I've done my work through my business, I've learned to find that confidence in my ability to communicate. And, it's just this thing of, I don't have the education that people would flaunt to give them some type of social elevation, but I understand my value is at least as much, if not more than that, even without the formal education, even without that 9 to 5 job that gives you that fancy title. Even without that, I have an intrinsic value. And because I'm now able to communicate in an empowered fashion, people can witness that value for themselves without me having to explain anything. He has no idea what I do every day. He just knows I run an academy, I do online work, I'm a public speaker. He knows I have an e-commerce business. He knows I take private sessions. He also knows I work 7 days a week. And he's just like, I know he's an empath. I can tell he's an empath. And I could feel he sized me up the first time I met him. And it's like, read me, go ahead. I'm not hiding anything. If you don't enjoy my energy, we won't do business. That's it. That's it. I'm not going to try and impress you. I'm not even going to talk much. Go ahead and read me, though. I'm okay with that. And so he did, and he really enjoyed it. He enjoyed my book. And he's asking me these questions this second business meeting, and that's what we talked about. Finding your voice, being able to understand that you need to be able to convey your value for people who are not able to determine people's values because of their lack of sensitivity to energy. All of you here are very sensitive to energy. That puts you way ahead of the game. Way, way, way ahead. So far ahead that you are now prepared to no longer play that game. There's no game you need to play with anyone, especially with yourself. Integrity and honor is how you will treat yourself, with integrity and honor. Honor your needs. Choose the options that carry the greatest level of integrity. It's a very beautiful space we've created, and I hope you guys continue to join me every day, usually 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Life is good. Life is good, not because we're lucky, not because the energy is quiet right now, not because any of that. Life is good because we make it good. Keep making it good. Keep choosing the things that make it even better and even better and even better. Not because you're broken and need to be fixed, no. But because you deserve to live a life that's more and more in alignment with how much goodness you are learning about yourself. That's a very beautiful way to love and to live. So I will see you guys again very, very soon. If you have not already subscribed or followed my page or channel, please do so. If not, you will be watching silently. No one wants their voice taken. Subscribe and follow so that you can be part of the conversation. It's important, but I do get it. Sometimes you need to watch for a little bit just to see what it's about. And I promise you, this is exactly what it's about. Honoring your needs, honoring your process, and letting you decide for yourself when to find your voice and how you're going to use it. I love you guys. I'll see you again very soon. I hope everyone has an amazing, amazing rest of your day. Bye, everyone.